Hey there, welcome back. So here are 22 upcoming book releases for 2022. Starting with my instant buy authors, we have Peter Swanson with 9 Lives. Basically, I guess 9 strangers get a list in the mail, and their name is on this list, and people on the list are being killed off. That's more than I need to know. All I need to know is Peter Swanson is writing another book, so I'm going to read it. Next, we have The House Across the Lake by Riley Sagar. Basically, Riley Sagar just takes a trope that I love. Haunted hotel, haunted house, etc., etc. But this time we have the classic woman is at a lake, or I think it's a lake house, doesn't matter. She's people watching, she's staring at the couple across the lake, maybe becomes a little bit obsessed with their life and watching them thinking they have the perfect life. The wife in that situation ends up almost drowning. She saves her, they become friends, wife goes missing. Is the husband a suspect or a killer? Who knows? It's a story I've been told a million times, been adapted a bunch of times, but I'm excited to see Riley Sagar's take on it. Paul Tremblay is another pretty much instant buy author from me, but the Pallbearers Club just seems a little strange, and I'm really looking forward to it. Set in, I think, like the 80s, a club is formed for people who have underattended funerals and need someone to be the pallbearers. And then one of the people in this club, who I guess is a friend of the main character, likes taking pictures of the corpses, as well as talking about necromancy and possible, I don't know if it's like cannibalism or grave robbing and digging it up. It seems strange. I'm looking forward to this one. Next we have Brandon Sanderson, because of course. The Last Metal is being released as the finale of the second trilogy in the Mistborn series. I need to read the Mistborn series. So while I won't probably be reading this book, I'm very excited to continue this series in 2022. Okay, we've moved out of instant buy authors into authors that I have liked something in the past, and now I'm excited to see what their upcoming releases are, as well as reading some of their backlist. Stay Awake is one I'm particularly excited for because it just sounds strange. Woman wakes up in, I think, the backseat of a taxi with no memory of getting there. The taxi driver drops her off at her apartment only to find someone else living there. So they obviously kick her out because, hey, you don't live here. She tries to call for help, but only finds a bloody knife in, I guess, her coat or purse or whatever. And now she's on the run for a murder she can't remember committing. I'm excited. Next we have Seasonal Fears. This is the sequel to Middlegame. I know nothing about it. I don't need to know anything about it. I'm going to read this one. Next we have Daisy Darker. Girl at grandma's house. Their house gets cut off come high tide. And when the tide goes out 8 hours later, nothing will be the same. There's not even a picture for this book. I just need to read it. Samantha Downing is supposedly having a book in 2022. It is untitled. There is no cover. Yeah, I got nothing. I just really liked her last book, and I'm excited to read it. The next one, Cherish Farah. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I'm sorry. I suck at names. Country club, social commentary, creepy family. Things aren't always what they seem. I don't really need to know much more than that. I'm picturing like a social domestic horror, and again, I'm excited. All right, Things We Do in the Dark. Woman is arrested in her own bathroom, covered in blood and holding a straight razor. Yet she's not really so concerned about her murdered husband. She's more concerned that this investigation is going to drag up something from her past, and then I think someone blackmails her. That's just a good setup. I'm excited. Insomnia. Basically, girl was in foster care because her mother did something and there was an incident, and now this woman can't sleep and she's fearing that whatever happened to her mother is happening to her. The Woman Could Fly. Someone's mother is missing, set in a world where there's witches. I got nothing. I've just heard good things about Lakewood, and I'm excited to read from this author. Book of Night. So this is a fantasy book. I think it might be a little bit urban fantasy. I'm not really sure. Something about a magic system that involves shadows and manipulating memory and feelings, and there's power involved, and there's influence. But there's a cast to it that could cost you hours or years of your life. There's a con artist. I got nothing. I just want to get more into fantasy, and this seems like fun. Okay, moving into authors that I've never heard of before, never read from before. The cover's just pretty, or the plot sounds good, and I'm hoping that it's a good time. The first one we have is Road of Bones. You have a haunted highway with dark history. The prisoners who built this highway during like the USSR times, if they died during the construction, they were just buried under the road. Maybe Ghost in the Woods. There's a film documentary crew going across this highway. I'm excited. The Paradox Hotel. This is the one I'm most excited for. Basically, it's a hotel for people time traveling, maybe dimension hopping because it's a Paradox Hotel. Regardless, I'm excited because apparently there's a serial killer or just a random murderer in this hotel. I don't need to know anything about this book. I just need to read it right now. So on screen when this release date is because I'm going to be reading it. All right, Dead Silence. This one is pitched as the Titanic meets The Shining, and I'm going to throw in vibes from Alien because it's about a repair crew, I'm pretty sure in space, because it says they don't want to return to Earth. They pick up a distress beacon, and they go there, and it's a missing ship, and there's words written in blood on the walls, and they don't know what happened. I don't need to know anything else. I'm pretty sure I've seen this episode of Doctor Who, and I've seen this in Alien. Now I get to read it in a book. I'm going to read this one. The Resting Place. Basically, girl has face blindness, witnesses a murder, I think of the grandmother or grandfather, sees the person who killed them, but can't recognize them because of this face blindness, and now she inherited a house. Pretty much I read a book with face blindness included in it, and now I want to see if that's something I enjoy in horror thriller books. The Overnight Guest. I just have this thing for isolation. I love isolation stories. Woman's in a farmhouse, and then it has a dark history. She's just chilling. I think she's an author. The snowstorm comes in, so kind of cut off from everything. And then they find a child outside in the snow and just take them in. And I guess bad things probably happen from there. Next we have, I'm sorry if I pronounced this wrong, Wahala. Basically the cover's beautiful, so I added it to my TBR. But it's a contemporary thriller, which is something I really want to get more into because I do like contemporaries. I just like them to be a little bit more fast-paced, so thriller. Friends, yeah, close-knit friend group, everyone has their issues. Newcomer comes in, stirs up drama, and I guess they're in danger now. I'm excited. The cover's beautiful, I just need to read this. Alright, next we have The Hacienda. Again, apologize if I'm saying this wrong, but it's pitched as Mexican Gothic meets Rebecca, and there is talk about after a Mexican independence revolution, there's a haunted house, there might be witchcraft involved. The cover is just giving all kinds of creepy gothic vibes. I want to read this. The Woman in the Library. Okay, I've never heard of this before. I just added it to my list. But basically, a group are in a library, a woman screams somewhere, and the library gets locked down. I'm assuming they were murdered. The people at one table are all strangers, and they just get to talking, and one of them might be the murderer. It just sounds like something I'd enjoy. I'm looking forward to this immensely. Last on this list, I unfortunately had to take off my own personal TBR, but I didn't find another book to replace it with. So we have Don't Fear the Reaper by Stephen Graham Jones. He is one that I'm leaning towards becoming an instant buy author. And this just had the most awesome title ever. I wanted to read it till I realized it was the sequel to My Heart's a Chainsaw, and that's not a book I enjoyed. It's not a book I finished, so I'm probably not reading the sequel. But in case you're not aware, a book that a lot of people liked is getting a sequel with the most awesome title ever. So if you like it, please let me know, and let me know if I can read it as a standalone. That's all I got. Enjoy 2022. Bye.